Welcome to this MyFitnessPal video where we are going to show you how you can plan your own food for the 4-week shred program. The first thing that you need to do is go into a calculator and calculate what your weight is in pounds. Here I am going to put in my weight is 67 kilos multiplied by 2.2 to give me pounds equals 147.4 pounds. Now in the 4-week shred program you're going to multiply your weight in pounds by 1.18 to give you your protein requirements, which you can see here is 173.9, which we will round up to 174. So we need to input this number now into MyFitnessPal so that we can get our protein requirements. So if we go here into MyFitnessPal, the first thing you want to do is go to more down in the bottom right hand corner, those three little dots. This is the premium version of MyFitnessPal. I've never used the free version, so I can't tell you how different it will be. I'm not sure if you can manipulate the grams. You have to go by percentages, so I would highly recommend that even just for the 4 weeks of the 4-week shred that you upgrade to the premium version if you don't have it already. So next you want to click on nutrition, and then once in nutrition you want to click on goal, which is the bottom of these three options, and then once in goal you want to change these to represent the protein requirement that you want to achieve on this program. You can see here that you can change it from percentages to grams. Quite often I would recommend a percentage split whenever people are working one of my programs, but on this specifically we are going to work with grams. So here in grams what we're going to do is we're going to change the protein to 174 grams, and we're going to change the carbs to 80 grams because you're going to be eating 80 grams of carbs every day except on your refeed day when you're going to eat 200 to 300 grams of carbs. You want the fat to be anywhere between 40 and 50 grams. I would put it here to about 50 grams because I have a huge amount of muscle, so I can eat slightly higher calories and get really, really good results. But if you don't have as much muscle in your body, you may want to set this to 40 grams, which will actually reduce the calories, as you can see at the bottom here, to about, just over 1,300, nearly 1,400 calories, which is totally fine, even though it is low, because you're going to be eating a huge amount of carbs on the weekend. But if you are male or if you have a lot of muscle, if you're a female athlete, then I would recommend going slightly higher, maybe up to 50 grams of fat. So once you have updated those, then you are going to just click the little arrow that is going to update. Sometimes whenever you go back here, what you will find is you can see here it says goal 1700. Sometimes it doesn't update it on the home page whenever you have updated it. So don't worry if it does that. You can literally just close the app, and whenever you open it again, it will be the correct goal. So then next you want to go to home down at the bottom here. And then you can see the nutrients remaining at the top. You have the 80 grams of carbs, 50 grams of fat, 174 protein. Then you want to start to play around with your food to get the correct breakdown, or to, plan your food for the week. And if you plan to eat the same thing every single day, it's going to be much, much easier for you. You're not going to have to plan and track and change it every single day. That's how I do all my meal plans when I'm shredding. I eat the same thing every day for a full week, and then I change it the following week. So in order to add food, you first of all want to go into diary, and then you can also change these, by the way. I have them all here as breakfast, mid-morning snack, lunch, post-workout, dinner, evening snack. So I have them all in here. You can actually go and change these in settings, and you can make these whatever you want, however many times you plan to eat a day. I usually try to eat 5 to 6 times a day. So I have 6 meals in here. I have breakfast, mid-morning snack, lunch, post-workout, dinner, evening snack. Don't worry about adding any exercise because all of your exercise is accounted for in the 4-week shred, and you do not want to add any exercise into MyFitnessPal because that is going to skew the ratings, or it's going to skew your readings in MyFitnessPal. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go into breakfast, okay? Now, once you have started to add up, or once you've started to use MyFitnessPal, you'll see that there's loads of different options here that have, that you've used in the past, which is absolutely fantastic. But what you want to do here is start to search for food and to add your food in every day. And I always add my protein first. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add in, I know I'm going to have porridge for breakfast, which is called oatmeal. in America. So I'm going to add in 20 grams here. You can see here serving size, it says 1 gram, and you can change the serving size here if you want. And then number of servings is 20 because obviously I'm having 20 servings of 1 gram, which is going to give me 20 grams. So once I have added that in, it'll give me a little tick here, and then I'm going to click the little add button at the very bottom, and that is going to add in my protein. Then I'm going to add some protein powder to my porridge, just to obviously up the protein content in the morning. So here we are here, raw vegan protein vanilla cream. This is the protein that I use. If the one that you use isn't here, you can simply do a search for it here, or you can even scan the barcode of your protein powder, and it should come up here in MyFitnessPal. They have millions and millions of different options here. So if I put in this, you can see here it's come up as number of servings 2. So I'm going to change that to 1, and then I'm going to add that to my breakfast. And you can see here now, if you look here just below where it says breakfast, you can click on that, it'll change it to percentages or grams. Carbs 13, fat 2, protein 27.4. So let's add some blueberries in there. Let's see what'll happen if I add in a couple of blueberries, because I do like to have some blueberries in my oatmeal. There's 100 grams is the serving size. You can see here number of servings 0.5, which is 50 grams. So I'm going to add those in too. And there, my breakfast, as you can see, is 229 calories, and that is a really good protein-rich breakfast. Now, for me, I always train mid-morning, and so I always have protein after my mid-morning snack. So I'm going to go back in here. I'm going to change this serving size to 2, and I'm going to add that in. I'm just going to blend it with ice and water, so there's going to be absolutely nothing else added to my protein shake. So you can see here, mid-morning snack, raw vanilla protein cream, 222 calories, and you can see that it's actually at the very top here, it's subtracting the calories away from my total calorie intake for the day. So lunch, let me see that day. Let's see what would happen if I love these vegan quarter pounders. They're from Naked Glory. You could find a similar one in your area. You want to make sure that they are high in protein, low in carbs and fat. So what would happen if I added one of those in for my lunch? You can see here 9 grams of carbs, 8 grams of fat, and 16 grams of protein. Let's add that to my lunch. There's my protein for my lunch. Then let me see what we're going to have with that. What about some spinach? That's what I love to have with mine. So there's 100 grams of spinach. And you can see here that I have carrots down at the very bottom, carrots and cabbage, because what I do is I make like a coleslaw out of carrots and cabbage, and then I add a tablespoon of vegan mayonnaise to that to make like a coleslaw, which is delicious for lunch. So I've added in carrots, cabbage, and vegan mayonnaise, as you can see here at the bottom. I'm going to click the tick at the top. I'm going to click add, and that's going to add that into my lunch. So you can see here now from breakfast, mid-morning snack, and lunch, if we go up to the very top, I have 663 calories still left to eat after eating all this. And that is a pretty full lunch, I can tell you. So because I work out in the morning, I don't need something post-workout. So I'm going to add in my dinner now. Let's say dinner is going to be... let me see, I already have some stuff added here. So let's say 100 grams of quinoa, half a block of tofu, 140 grams of tofu here, 2 cups of steamed broccoli, and 6 spears of asparagus. Let's see what will happen if I add all of those in. Add. Okay, perfect. So for my dinner, I can have 140 grams of tofu scrambled with 100 grams of quinoa. And let me see, I also need to put in some garlic oil. So let's see, if I put in a teaspoon, here we are, garlic infused olive oil. So there's half a tablespoon of oil to saute my tofu in. Let's add that too. Okay, so you can see here at the top, I've gone 15 grams over in carbs. So this has actually pushed me way over my carbs. So what I'm going to have to, well, not way over, but over my carbs. So I'm going to have to take some carbs off somewhere so that I don't exceed my carbs for the day. So I'm going to go back into quinoa here, and I'm going to see what will happen to my carbs if I add in 75 grams of quinoa. Let's see what it does. Oh, still 10 grams over. Okay, so I'm going to take off more quinoa. Let's see what will happen here. Number of servings. If I go to 50 grams of quinoa, okay, 4 grams over. So I'm nearly there. Let me see if I can shave any carbs off anywhere else. What will happen if I take my blueberries off? or let's see if I go to 30 grams of blueberries, what'll happen there? Okay, that's perfect. So you see here how I went over my carbs at the top, but whenever I took off some blueberries and I took off some of the quinoa here down at the bottom, then I was able to get the carbs to zero. So I've still 47 grams of protein and 10 grams of fat left to eat. I love having food in the evening because it fills me up before I go to bed. So I'm going to have another protein shake before I go to bed. I'm going to have 2 scoops of protein. I'm just going to add that in and see what it does. Okay, so that's only 3 grams over my protein. That's totally fine. And I've got 9 grams of fat and 76 grams of calories left. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave that. I'm not going to change that for now because I've still got 76 calories to play with. But quite often what I like to do is have a cappuccino or not a cappuccino, an oat milk flat white during the day. So if I put in Oatly, which is the milk that I drink. So there's 100 mils there. So let's say I allow myself, I'm going to change that to 1 mil. Let's say I allow myself 50 mils or 75 mils of Oatly with my coffee. What does that do? Okay, so it pushes me 7 grams over on carbs and not and I've still got 32 calories left to eat. You know what? I would be happy with that. 7 grams over on carbs is totally fine. And I love having my Oatly, so I'm not going to stress too much about that. But you can see how I've still got 32 grams of protein. It doesn't really matter that I went slightly over on carbs and slightly over on protein because I was slightly under on fat. And I would be very happy with that for a day's food. So what I would do once I have that planned out is I would make that, I would plan that dinner every single night, the tofu, steamed broccoli, asparagus, and the quinoa, and plan that lunch every single day as well, and then obviously eat the same breakfast every day. And that would be the food that I would eat for the full 7 days on the 4-week shred. And then I would do exactly the same process next week, and I would meal plan for the following week. And that is how to plan your food on this program whenever you are working to a specific goal. Now, on refeed day, what I would do is I would go into diary. Let me see, into home. No, into more, sorry, at the bottom. Apologies. Go into more at the very bottom right-hand corner. Click on nutrition. This is for doing your refeed day. Then click on goal. Then once you're in your goal, you want to click on carbohydrates and you want to change your carbs to say 200 to 300 grams of carbs. So let's say you're on the smaller side and you don't want to go too high on your carbs. You're going to spin your carbs here up to 200 grams. You're going to keep your protein at 174 grams and you're going to keep your fat the same as well. So then you would go back and you would go into your nutrition or into your diary. And as you can see here, you have still 113 grams of carbs left. So what I would do then is I would plan to have extra carbs. So let me see, the first thing I would manipulate on high carb day is my quinoa. So I would say, well, what would happen if I put in 200 grams of quinoa? Let's see what that does. Great. I've still got 81 grams of carbs left to eat, but I've gone 11 over in protein. So I want to take some protein out somewhere. So let's see what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to my evening snack and I'm going to take out 1 of the scoops of protein and let's see what that does. Okay, so I've still got 15 grams of protein. So what happens if I put in 1.5 grams of protein? Sorry, 1.5 scoops of protein. Perfect. Okay, so I've just changed my evening snack here, as you can see, to 1.5 scoops of protein. I've still got 81 grams of carbs to eat. So what'll happen if I add, say, a bagel to my evening meal? What will happen there? Oh, look at that. Perfect. So I can have a bagel with my protein shake in the evening. I can have 200 grams of cooked quinoa with my dinner, and I've still got 36 grams of carbs left. So what'll happen, let's see, if I add some rice, if I add some Uncle Ben's basmati rice, and I have, let's say, 100 grams with my lunch. Let's add that in and see what happens. Okay, perfect. Look at that. So that's how you do your high carb day. So we've gone 11 over in protein, but that's totally fine. And we're still 5 and 1 over in carbs. So breakfast is going to be your normal breakfast, 20 grams of oats with your protein powder. Mid-morning snack, same thing. You're still going to have your protein shake. Then for lunch, you're going to have 100 grams of basmati rice. Then you're going to have 200 grams of quinoa with your dinner, and you're going to have a bagel in the evening. And that's going to be your high carb day. And obviously, if your carbs were 300, then you would get an awful lot more food. If carbs were 300, what I would tend to do is I would tend to play around with this and maybe make it 40 grams of protein. But obviously you would need to go into nutrition and you would need to go into goal then into carbohydrates. So this is if you're going to eat 300 grams of carbs. And it is totally okay to eat 300 grams of carbs, by the way, guys, especially if you've been training really, really hard and you have a huge amount of muscle. It's actually preferable to eat 300 grams of carbs because it's really going to keep your leptin levels high. So let's see what would happen if we had 300 grams of carbs. So if we had 300 grams of carbs to eat, well, look, we would still have 93 grams left. And that's after changing this to 40 grams. So let's see what would happen if we change it to 50 grams. Here we go. Excellent. So we've still got 87 grams of carbs left. So we could probably add some Vitargo into, let me see, 30 grams of Vitargo after our protein. No, we could actually add more than that. We could have 60 grams of Vitargo. So you see how fun this is on high carb day whenever. So you've still got 30 grams of carbs left to eat, and you've had 50 grams of porridge oats in the morning. You've had Vitargo, your mid-morning snack. You could probably have, let me see, 200 grams of rice at lunch. Let's have a look and see. Yeah. Okay. So unfortunately, though, your protein is a little high now. So what we have to do is we have to go and take out a little bit of protein. So I would let me see, mid-morning snack. I would take out half a scoop here. And then I would take out another half a scoop here. So this is just all a matter of playing around and playing around. Okay, so look at that. That's almost perfect. Like, these numbers don't have to hit 0 at the top. We're 18 calories still left to eat. We're 7 protein left to eat. We've 1 carb left to eat. But that is perfect. That is now at 300 grams of carbs. If that's what you decided to do on your high carb day. So this is how you use MyFitnessPal. You just play around with the numbers. You add and you take away until you reach you're never going to reach perfection, but you want to reach, as close as you can, basically, to what you can, what you're allowed to eat every day. And as long as you're striving for consistency and not perfection, you will always do well in this program. So I hope this helps. Good luck with the program, and I will see you all inside the private Facebook group. This is Kim Constable. Bye-bye.